My name is Maya, and I had a very simple plan. Keep my head down, maintain my scholarship, and graduate. But Professor Harrison's final social psychology project blew those plans to pieces. The assignment was called the social marriage experiment. 2 students would be paired together to live as a married couple for 30 days, documenting every challenge. When he called out my name alongside Liam Vance, the room went silent. Liam was the heir to a multi-billion-dollar empire and the most arrogant guy on campus. We were natural enemies, but now we were forced to share a life. We met in a secluded corner of the university library to discuss the living arrangements. Liam didn't even bring a notebook. He just leaned back, looking at me with cold, piercing eyes. "Here's the deal, Maya," he said, sliding a contract toward me. "Nobody on campus finds out about this. In public, we are strangers. In private, you stay in your room and I stay in mine. We sign the logs for the grade, and after 30 days, we forget each other exists." I signed it without hesitation. I didn't want to be his wife any more than he wanted me there. Liam took me to his private penthouse, a glass fortress overlooking the city. It was beautiful, modern, and incredibly lonely. "Guest suite is at the end of the hall," he said, tossing his keys onto a marble counter without looking back. As I unpacked my small suitcase in a room larger than my entire apartment back home, the reality of the situation hit me. I was living with a man who treated me like an inconvenience, surrounded by wealth I couldn't even imagine. It felt less like a home and more like a golden cage. On the first night, sleep wouldn't come. Around 2 a.m., I crept to the kitchen for a glass of water. I found Liam standing on the balcony, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. He looked different without his expensive suit jacket. He looked human, even tired. "Can't sleep either?" he asked quietly, his voice losing its usual sharp edge. We stood there in the silence for a long time, watching the world below. For a fleeting second, the wall between us felt thinner, and I realized there was a lot more to Liam Vance than his bank account. The next morning at the university was a lesson in acting. Liam walked past me in the hallway, surrounded by his popular friends, acting as if I were invisible. It was exactly what we agreed on, yet it felt strangely cold. In class, I sat in the front and he sat in the back, but I could feel his gaze on me the entire time. We were sharing a massive secret, a life that began the moment we left the campus gates. Keeping up the charade was exhausting, and I wondered who would be the first to break. The project required us to share 1 meal a day and log our interactions. On day 5, Liam actually stayed at the table instead of taking his food to his office. "Why do you study so hard, Maya?" he asked suddenly. I told him the truth, that I didn't have a family name to fall back on. He was quiet for a long time before admitting that his father had every second of his life mapped out. For the first time, we weren't arguing. We were 2 people realizing that we both felt trapped by our circumstances, just in very different ways. The peace was shattered when Sarah, Liam's persistent ex-girlfriend, showed up at the penthouse unannounced. I barely had time to hide behind the kitchen island as she stormed in, demanding to know why Liam was spending so much time at home. "I smell perfume, Liam! Who is she?" Sarah shrieked, moving toward the kitchen. My heart hammered against my ribs. If I was caught, my reputation and scholarship would be ruined. Liam managed to steer her toward the door just in time, but the fear in my eyes when he returned told him everything. We were playing a dangerous game. It was raining heavily on day 8 when I got back to the penthouse, soaked to the bone after a late shift at the library. Liam was waiting by the door, looking genuinely worried. Without a word, he draped a warm towel over my shoulders. As his hands brushed against my arms, I felt a spark of electricity that had nothing to do with the cold. Our eyes met, and for a long moment, neither of us moved. The tension in the room was thick, and the experiment was starting to feel a lot more like reality. Back at school, a guy from my study group, Ryan, asked me to lunch. We were laughing over a joke when I saw Liam walking by. The look he gave Ryan was pure ice. That evening at the penthouse, Liam was in a foul mood, slamming cupboards and barely speaking. "You're supposed to be focused on the project, not flirting with every guy on campus," he snapped. I fired back, telling him he didn't own me. "Right now, you're living under my roof as my wife," he growled. The jealousy was undeniable, and it changed everything between us. By the 10th day, the secret felt like it was slipping. I found a note tucked into my locker that sent a chill down my spine. "I know where you go at night, Maya. Does the professor know you're living in a billionaire's penthouse?" My hands shook as I showed the note to Liam. Someone was watching us, and they were ready to expose our secret marriage to the entire world. The experiment was no longer just about a grade. It was a battle for our futures, and the enemy was closer than we thought. The anonymous note in my locker kept me awake all night. When I returned to the penthouse, Liam saw the fear in my eyes and immediately knew something was wrong. I showed him the threat. I expected him to be worried about his reputation, but his face hardened with protective rage. He placed his hands firmly on my shoulders and looked me in the eye. "Maya, as long as you are with me, no one can touch you." In that moment, I realized Liam was no longer just a partner in a project. He had become my protector. Liam's father summoned him to the city's most prestigious business gala, and Liam insisted I go with him. He bought me a stunning midnight blue silk gown that made me feel like I belonged in his world. When we entered the ballroom, every eye was on us. Liam never let go of my hand, introducing me to the elite as someone essential to his life. Under the shimmering chandeliers, our fake marriage felt more real than anything I had ever known. On the way back from the gala, Liam pulled the car over at a quiet lookout point. He looked exhausted, the weight of his name clearly pulling him down. "Maya, this wealthy world is mostly just a show. People see me as a machine, not a person," he confessed. I reached out and touched his hand, and for the first time, he spoke about the loneliness of his childhood. We were growing closer, and the lines of our experiment were blurring into a deep, genuine connection. Morning brought a disaster. A photo of us from the gala had been leaked to the university forum with a cruel caption claiming I was just a gold digger. In the cafeteria, the whispers were deafening. My rival, Chloe, insulted me in front of everyone. But Liam suddenly appeared. He didn't just stand by me. He defended me in front of the entire campus. "If anyone has a problem with Maya, they have a problem with me," he announced. That day, everyone realized that Liam Vance was a changed man. The stress and the cold rain finally took their toll. I woke up on day 15 with a burning fever, unable to even stand. When Liam saw my condition, he skipped all his classes. He didn't call for a doctor. He stayed by my side himself, making soup and placing cold towels on my forehead throughout the night. When I finally woke up, I found him asleep in a chair next to my bed. It was then I knew. This wasn't about the grades anymore. Liam truly cared for me. The peace was shattered when Liam's father, Mr. Vance, stormed into the penthouse. He threw a check for a massive amount of money on the table and told me to leave Liam's life forever. "My son doesn't need a girl like you," he sneered. To my shock, Liam took the check and tore it up right in front of him. "Dad, Maya is the person I've chosen. If you threaten her again, I'll walk away from the empire." Liam was willing to give up his billions just to keep me safe. After his father left, Liam was devastated. He stood out on the terrace in the pouring rain, looking at the city he might lose. I went out to bring him inside, but he pulled me into his arms. I might have lost everything today, Maya, but I still have you. Looking into my eyes with a vulnerability I'd never seen, he whispered, "I love you." There, in the middle of the storm, we shared a kiss that wasn't for a project or a show. It was the truth. A guy named Marcus, an old rival of Liam's, started following me around campus. He cornered me in the library, trying to convince me that Liam was just using me to spite his father. He even showed me an old video of Liam mocking the experiment months ago. I felt a seed of doubt grow in my heart. Was Liam really changed? Or was I just a pawn in his game against his father? Marcus was determined to break us apart. Marcus gave me a final ultimatum. Leave Liam by tomorrow, or I'll make sure your scholarship is revoked and your family's secrets are leaked. I was heartbroken. I loved Liam, but I couldn't let my mother's hard work go to waste. I had to make an impossible choice. To save Liam's future and protect my family, I realized I had to walk away from the only man I had ever truly loved. It was day 25 of the experiment. I packed my bags quietly while Liam was out. When he returned and saw the suitcase, the smile vanished from his face. "Maya, what is this?" he asked, his voice shaking. I lied to him, telling him I never loved him and that it was all just a project for me. The look of agony in his eyes nearly broke my heart, but I didn't look back. I walked out of the penthouse, leaving behind a piece of my soul. Life without Liam felt like living in black and white. I moved back into my tiny dorm room, but the silence was deafening. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped, hoping it was him, but I had blocked his number to keep my resolve. Meanwhile, at the penthouse, Liam was a wreck. He didn't go to classes, he just sat in the guest room I had occupied, staring at the empty bed. He knew I was lying about not loving him, and he wasn't going to let me go that easily. A few days later, Marcus approached me in the university courtyard, a smug grin on his face. "You made the right choice, Maya. Now Liam is alone, and your scholarship is safe." But as he talked, he accidentally let slip that he was the one who had leaked the Gala photos and sent the anonymous notes. He didn't just want me away from Liam, he wanted to destroy Liam's life entirely. I realized then that by running away, I had let the villain win. It was time to stop being a victim. I needed help to expose Marcus, and it came from the most unlikely person, Chloe. She found me crying in the library and, for the first time, didn't mock me. "I hate you, Maya, but I hate Marcus more. He's a cheat," she admitted. Chloe had proof that Marcus had been hacking into the university's grading system and the anonymous forum. Together, we started gathering the evidence needed to clear my name and show the professor the truth about the blackmail. While I was working with Chloe, Liam was having his own showdown. He went to his father's office and officially resigned from the family business. "Keep the money, Dad. Keep the empire. I'd rather be a nobody with Maya than a billionaire without her." He walked away from everything, his cars, his credit cards, and his status. He moved into a small apartment near the campus, proving to everyone that his love for me was never about a project or a game. The tension reached its breaking point in the university library. Marcus cornered me again, but this time, Liam was standing right behind me. The two men faced off, and the entire student body watched in silence. Marcus tried to play the video of our contract, but Liam stepped forward. "Go ahead. Show them," Liam challenged. "Tell them we were forced into a marriage experiment, but also tell them how I fell in love with her for real while you were busy playing spy." Before Marcus could press play, I stepped forward with my laptop. With Chloe's help, I projected Marcus's blackmail messages and his login history from the forum onto the library's large screens. The gasps from the students were loud. Professor Harrison walked in just as the evidence became undeniable. Marcus's face went pale. The bully was finally caught in his own trap, and the truth about our secret marriage was finally out in the open. After Marcus was led away by campus security, the library cleared out, leaving only me and Liam. I looked at him, my eyes filled with tears. "I'm so sorry I left, Liam. I thought I was protecting you." He walked up to me, his expression softening. "You don't ever have to protect me from the truth, Maya. I don't care about the scholarship or the money. I just care about you." He pulled me into a hug, and the weight I had been carrying for weeks finally vanished. It was day 30, the end of the experiment. We had to stand in front of the class and Professor Harrison to present our findings. Liam and I stood side by side, holding hands. We didn't talk about budgets or social behavior. We talked about how a forced situation taught us about vulnerability, sacrifice, and the courage to be ourselves. Professor Harrison smiled, the first genuine smile I had ever seen from him. "You both get an A," he said, "but it seems you've gained something much more valuable than a grade." With the experiment over, Liam didn't go back to his father. He took a part-time job at a tech startup and stayed in his small apartment. We started dating like a normal couple. No contracts, no secrets, no hidden penthouses. We went for cheap coffee, studied in the park, and laughed about our disastrous start. For the first time, we were just Maya and Liam, two students who had found something extraordinary in the middle of a chaotic experiment. As the sun set over the university campus on graduation day, Liam turned to me, a small box in his hand. It wasn't a billionaire's diamond, but a simple, beautiful ring he had bought with his own hard-earned money. "The experiment might be over, Maya, but our story is just beginning. Will you stay with me for real this time?" I smiled, kissing him as the crowd cheered around us. Our marriage started as a secret and a lie, but it ended as the truest thing in my life. And that is the final entry in our love diary.